'cause you're the love of my life. Things are great. Thanks for loving me. I celebrate my life. You with me. And we met worlds away. I've never been very far. You know who I am. I love you just the way you are. You are a light to me. Good advice, always there for me. I'm so inspired by your light. Love never ends. I am so blessed to have you in my life, my friend. There's a time to be born, a time to die, a time to laugh, time to cry. Come and help me try, catch the wind. 'Cause life's a gift we've all been given. Everybody dies. Are you really living? Change your thinking, change your world. 'Cause everything happens for a reason. Just wait and see. All my life keeps getting better. 'Cause you're with me. Love my life, things are great. Thanks for loving me. Celebrate my life. You with me. Life goes on in a higher place where souls are free, full of crystals and rainbows. Love eternally. There will be no more pain. Spread your wings and fly. Butterflies on the breeze. And I'm so inspired by your light. Love never ends. I am so blessed to have you in my life, my friend. Healing comes when your blind eye sees lessons we can learn through forgiving me. Hearts get drunk, drinking love. Life's a gift we've all been given. Everybody dies. Are you really living? Change your thinking, change your world. 'Cause everything happens for done. Just wait and see. Oh, my life keeps getting better. 'Cause you're with me. I love my life. Things are great. Thanks for loving me. I celebrate my life. You with me. Celebrate my life. I celebrate your life. I celebrate my life. You with me.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Like that.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad I recorded it so it's can like more people can experience it.
Yeah.
So we're going immediately into like we transitioned into the podcast. We just recorded everything. So welcome everybody. This was beautiful. That was beautiful. I almost teared up. Thank you so much for sharing this. And let us know in the comments what you think of it. And this is a beautiful way to start our talk. We already had a talk with the two of us, and I'm really grateful to share this person, Rob Whalley, with all of you. He wrote an amazing book, Creating Your Best Life Now. And we're going to be talking about the book, about his life. And the podcast is called Human Light Bulbs Podcast, where I share with incredible, inspiring human beings all over this world, sharing light, sharing love, sharing knowledge, and with their unique being. And so very welcome, Rob.
Welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, we're very happy to have you here. And I'm like, my name is, for the people that don't know me yet, I call myself MissHellbreaker, but I'm Janneke Hellebreker. I come from Holland. I'm like a spiritual teacher, yoga meditation teacher. Yeah, I give inspiring videos on all sorts of platforms. Call myself Miss Hellbreaker. I also just wrote a book. And I also give energy healings and energy healing courses. And I also help people with everything on all levels. Whatever you need help with. And you can check my website, MissHellbreaker.com. But today we're going to be talking with Rob and his very inspiring book. And he even wrote 2 books. And can you tell us a bit about like how it all, your life culminated before like writing those books? Like, what is it that inspired you for writing those books?
Well, my beginning of inspiration came. Was a very avid surfer, and surfing has a natural, nature-based, ocean-based spiritual component to it, because you literally are seeking pleasure of this freak of nature that is just pure water energy, and you are surfing it for fun. And when the wave gets you, or you make a mistake on your maneuver, because I surf high-end places. The last place was Hawaii, on the island of Maui, for 12 years. So it's the only sport to where your lack of performance penalizes you, or your lack of timing or judgment, with getting pushed underwater by a force that until you've experienced it, and in Hawaii is one of the most powerful waves in the world, that pings you on the bottom of the reef. And at that point, you're either okay or you're bleeding. And then you're holding your breath, and you can't get another breath until it allows you to. So you go into this kind of meditation mode, because the more you panic or freak out, the quicker you use oxygen. And when the wave lets you go, you swim for the surface. And that analogy there is a deep inspiration. You know, there would be points to where, whether you believe in God or not, in prayer or not, just like they say there are no atheists in foxholes, right, under attack. You know, when you're out surfing waves that are 3 times the size of you, in 4 feet of water, and you're being held down and you have no more breath left, you know, you're saying, God, just slip me to the surface. So the whole thing of living on islands and, people, there's a reason surfers grow their hair long and smoke a lot of weed and blah, blah. That's kind of their spiritual path, so to speak. And so that was kind of the underlying of it. And then when I was 18 or so, and I was traveling, surf traveling, I started writing poetry. And then the poetry turned into songs. Once I got older and had some money, then I started recording. I recorded 3 music CDs, got married, just wrote all the time, and was going to do a 4th one. And my wife said, write a book instead. So I researched how to write a book. I actually went to I was living in Maui. I flew to LA, went to Victor Davis Hanson and Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh yeah, Jack Canfield, I know. Yeah. I read that book as
well. We're doing a
well.
book writing seminar in LA called Book Writing University, Book Marketing University. So I went to that. They touch a lot about writing a book, and about the business of books, but very little, if anything at all, of how to write a book, because they sold everything that they didn't teach you in the seminar that cost $2,000. Book coaching services,
like always,
publishers, book cover designers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So for 5 years, I wrote my first book, which is here. I have very few copies left, but called Learning Your Lessons in Life School. And like anything else, you write your first book, you learn a lot. And I hired a book coach, and I hired an editor, and I hired a book cover designer and an interior book designer. And so, and it was a really good book. But then 5 years later, I wrote this one. And this one I did everything myself. The design, the interior design, editing, because like my songs, nobody was a better producer than me. I would work with producers. I would hire a producer in the recording studio. I'd hire the best the best studio musicians I could afford. And I happened to be in an area where there was lots of them. And so I could get them reasonable, because they would come off tour with major bands, and then I'd say, hey, for $100, you want to come in the studio? And they'd say, oh yeah, great, come on, let's go. So that's how I got to writing books. And now I don't really write songs anymore. I have enough, but I'm able to do something really unique. To me, it's all about the live events, of which I'm now going to start doing what you do and do them live in the form of a podcast. But I do what's called a book concert. I read from the book up to the song. So it's an inspirational message up to the song. I pick up my guitar, play the song, and then I open it up to interactive inspirational sharing. And that's when it gets fun. It's like an AA meeting or something. It's like a Bible study. People are like, because words and music, that's why we love them, because they stimulate thoughts and feelings. So let's do, when I do a book concert, I always open it up with opening the book up and then have somebody read it. Well, interesting. This goes right along with my conversation, which it always does. It says, I wrote and recorded this song on my CD named Sky, which was my first recording. And the song is titled Comes From Inside. What you gonna do when it all comes down? Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna run to? There's nowhere to go when there's nowhere to ride, nowhere to run when it comes from inside, no place to hide when it comes from inside. You got to work it out. You got to see me through. You got to do those things you don't want to do. Gotta let me out, gotta let me in, love and be loved, and then we win. There is nothing to do. It has nothing to do with you. It's just something I'm going through because it comes from inside and there's nowhere to hide. For some people, the past experience of fear, pain, and unhappiness created unconscious blocks that formed their emotional perception of what happened to them. They continued to protect themselves by subconsciously acting on those harmful feelings without being consciously aware that they are actually doing it. When something or someone triggers their suppressed negative emotions, the buried feelings rise to the surface with even more intensity than they originally had. They become overwhelmed with negative thoughts and bad feelings that take control of their behavior while temporarily becoming a different person during their emotional meltdown. So the subjects are about life. Thoughts create your life, creating your own happiness, turning problems into self-improvement. What are you thinking? The power of affirmations, feeling your emotions, forgiveness heals the soul, having a positive attitude, the intellect of the heart, rising above the storm, love is an action word, living with gratitude, loving yourself, meditation plus visualization equals creation, making positive changes, taking action makes life better, and creating your best life now. So everybody can relate to them. So I sent you a digital file of the book. Did you have a chance to look at it?
Yeah, I read I think the first 30 pages together with it. I read it out loud to also for my partner to read it. And it was really, really inspirational. And it was also so beautiful because you take every subject, but you take it from so many different levels, so many different sides. Like, oh, I never saw it like this, and so many different perspectives. And you bring in also quotes from other people's books. And I was wondering, and it's like really, also really cool, good. That also brings an extra dimension in it. It's like you bring the best sentences of other books. Like you're like so many more books that you're actually reading at the
I'm
moment.
having a conversation with them through the quote. All right, I come in leading up to the quote, then they speak through the quote, and then I keep on speaking. It's
Yeah,
great. I spent my whole life in sales and marketing. So there's a saying that if you want to be looked upon as an expert, then quote experts. Right?
and did you read all those books yourself that you quote?
Yeah, almost all of them.
Wow.
Or I not all of them, but a lot of them.
Okay.
Mainly just extensive researching online to find a quote that continued my conversation, and a quote that I wish I wrote and was also in the style, in the conversational style that I write, because you don't want to change someone's quote. And so it had to fit in. So it took a lot. But that's one of the things that when I finished the book, I spent 2 more years of just like a song, of creating pure flow. I take the responsibility that, the words are creating other thoughts and other feelings, and the awareness of that's going on, and then where am I going to take them to? Where am I going to flow them to? And I don't want to take them any place too abruptly. They'll get dizzy, and just to move them along, just in a flow, and be teaching, and make it so simple. I have kind of a songwriter style, a kind of a singy songy kind of a style. I do put commas where they're not supposed to be, and they're there to slow for a split second the reader down, because I know it's not my editing software will light it up red and say it's not supposed to be there, take it out. But I read it and go, no, that's the way I write, you know. And so the concept of that, you teach everything to yourself, so the easier you understand it. So if someone's really enlightened, if they've read a lot of books, if they've read books by all those people I'm quoting, then they also will be interested in the book because they can relate to it. But a lot of those books, in my opinion, if you're on somewhere in the beginning of your path, or even halfway your path, or you know, you've been seeking higher consciousness, inspiration, wisdom for a while, a lot of those books, you know, even when I read them, I go like, whoa, too much for me, you know, or it's too metaphysical, or it's too new agey, or it's too religious, or it's too spiritual, or it's too and I really learned that from the first book. So that's how I've got to kind of like coming in every direction, as I figure I'm gonna be able to get in here in some way. But it took a lot of rewriting. In fact, today I'll finish this is my 4th edition. I'll finish the 5th edition today. So I've read the book 100 times. So no one's ever going to read the book the way I do. But the reason that'll be another month's worth of work is because with digital printing, you can do that. It doesn't cost me a nickel. When I'm done, I upload it to Amazon, and the next person that buys the book, they get the current edition. So that part of technology is really nice.
Yeah, and I really liked it how, look, what you said, it's simple but very profound. It's like really deep knowledge, deep inspiration. It can really shift your mind, because when you just share, like if you change a belief, you can change your whole life, or change your thinking, because that's how it starts. So first lesson was change your thoughts, and the second one, like change like how you think about yourself, and that is already, if you just change that little thing in your life, you change your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, change it in that song was the lyrical line, change your thinking, change your world. Well, you can't change your world if you don't change your thinking, right? Everything is energy. Our brain, as much technology as we have, and now the big thing is they're trying to accomplish a technological brain, it's still not even close to the human brain. You know, it just isn't. And the massive amount of electricity that it takes in order to power an AI, right? The computers for an AI are massive. It's like 100 times what a computer takes. We don't have the electrical grid to go AI, right? And there's no spirit in AI. So when I take this, so the last step on this edit will be I'll take it and put it through what's called Grammarly, and I'll put it in chapter by chapter, and Grammarly will say this grammatically this isn't correct. You should replace this word. You should rewrite this sentence. And a very small amount of it do I pay attention to. I pay attention to, like, a capital shouldn't be there, 2 spaces in between words. I didn't hit the keyboard right at the time. 2 paragraphs will end up getting stuck together, you know, more on a technical standpoint. But what I found out real quick, and right now I use the free version, but I paid for about a year of the $30 a month to get the advanced version. That's why they give the free version away. But I noticed that the AI software was taking my creative writing out of it.
Mm.
Because it's really built for more like if I was writing a letter to a corporate CEO or something,
So
right?
you really you really saw the difference if that
Yeah.
from the AI. So you really like, but we are like creative beings, like we like are like, and we, a lot of people are not even aware how much powerful we are, like how much we can create if you are like, I think, but it's also, you have to be more aligned with yourself, like, or like connected with yourself to reach that creative state.
Yeah. Yeah. But we also, so we're not, we go to school, we're taught how to read, how to write, how to add, subtract, divide, multiply, taught about some history, we're taught how to compose in English. Nobody ever teaches you how to live. You know, nobody teaches, they teach you math, but they don't teach you how to calculate your own self-worth. Right? Right. So everything is unapplicable. Right. So you have to go into life. I mean, that was the whole concept of that book. When I was in my freshman year of college, when I came home on Christmas break, and I said to my mother, me and a couple friends, which she knew, that we're taking off for a 6-month surfing trip. She said, well, what are you going to do about college? I said, Mom, I'm getting straight A's in the same damn things I got in college. And I mean, in high school. I said, I'm paying for it. And, whatever I'm going to do, it's going to be sales. I'm not going to need a college degree. I'm going to life school.
Oh, you said that then already. Oh, wow.
He said, well, what's that? I said, I'm going out into the world and learn the stuff that they don't teach in school, that you only learn by living life. And so that's the first couple chapters is about my surf travels and all the stuff that I did. And we would have gotten either imprisoned or killed multiple times. And it was all just using common sense and intuition and not allowing fear to cloud your mind and so on and so on. And that's when I started writing poetry. And so, but so much in life, they just don't teach you in school. And the main thing is thinking. Your entire life is about thinking. Your entire life. They talk about intelligence, right? They talk about education, but they never tell you how to control your thoughts or process your thoughts or change them from positive to negative. And how come I got all this stuff happening in my life? I don't understand it. Well, what are you thinking? Oh, well, I pretty much, even the most positive person thinks negative thoughts 40% of the time. I mean, this is documented.
I read it in your book and I was like, it's still shocked. I was like,
shocking, 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 right? But now when they come into my head, right, I just wrap them up, woo, shoot them out. I look at them because it's usually something to learn. It's usually trying to teach me something. But it's just absorbing, because the more higher conscious you get, the more empathetic you get. I'm an empath.
yeah,
When
me
I
too.
figured that out, I stopped drinking. Because I was numbing my feelings. So I was absorbing all this stuff all over the place. I'm going like, oh my gosh, I get overloaded, and drinking did it for me until it didn't. And so, but just the fact that, so here's lesson one, right? So why, if you're creating your best life now, you can have everything. You can have money, you can have health, you can have fame, you can have fortune, you can have all the material possessions, you can have lots of money in the bank, you can have a great reputation, right? But if you're not thinking very well, it's called mental illness. They have a whole part of the healthcare system dedicated to it, right? And it's the #1 cause of illnesses in our country.
Yeah, because
At the end,
people believe their own thoughts, and then they go spiral more negative and negative.
But you're not
And
taught about how to deal with them. Oh, don't think that way. Oh, don't think that way. Have a drink. You know, the American Medical Association says 75% of all doctor's visits come from stress-related illnesses. What is stress? Dysfunctional thinking. That's what stress is, right? You're not able to what? Because nobody taught you, right? So the first couple of paragraphs, thoughts are things, very powerful things. If you were fully aware of how powerful your thoughts really are and how they create your reality, you would do everything within your power to consistently think positive thoughts. You need to think more about what you're thinking about. Your thoughts are the architects that design your life. Everything in your emotional, spiritual, financial, physical, and conscious reality has been created with your positive and negative thinking. What you are thinking about your life is your life. Pay attention to your thoughts because they create your feelings, opinions, perceptions, words, actions, and reactions. Your entire life experience is created by the thoughts you think. Your best and worst thinking has gotten you to where you are right now. The way you think life is creates how you believe your life is. I think, therefore I am. The outer condition of your life is a mirror reflection of the inner state of your mind. A single seed of thought contains within itself the power to grow a fruitful or a fruitless thinking tree. The life you are living today is the feast or famine produced by the positive and negative thought seeds you sowed in the past. For better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, your thinking brings into being the pains and pleasures you are experiencing. Max Planck, the founder of modern quantum physics, which is the study of nature on a microparticle level, believed that the negatively and positively charged thought molecules of consciousness create your behaviors, experiences, and state of reality. When you are thinking positive thoughts and feeling good on the inside, things look great on the outside. When you are consumed with negative thoughts, the outside world appears to be very unpleasant. Negative thoughts cannot create good feelings, and positive thoughts will never make you feel bad. Pretty simple.
that alone can shift a whole reality for someone.
Yeah. Change
This
your life.
realization.
That one page. That one
Yeah.
page.
That alone.
Yeah. So another thing I did, which took me a whole nother year, was to create the book in such a way that some people go like, you know, I was motivated by the reading statistics of the American Book Association, who study how many people read. They do that by book sales. Right? You don't read a book and not, you know, buy a book and not read it. So I can't quote the exact statistics, but about 10 to 20% of people are avid readers. About 50 more percent, which would be 70%, read one book a year. And then the last 20% just do not read. Now that's 100%. Then they break it down into categories. Okay. Anybody from 50 and above we had book reports in school, you know, people read books, you know, books were kind of in. But if you're in the youngest generation and the generation in front of them, that's when technology came in. And that's when it was texts and emails and podcasts and posts and, you know, little blips, right? So I made it. So I would talk to young people. They say, "Oh yeah, I don't read. I haven't read a book, you know, since high school." I say, "Well, do you read anything?" "Oh yeah, I read my phone all day long. I read posts on Facebook. I read what looks to me like you're reading." And I said, you know, so I talked to enough people that it was the shortness of it. Well, that's why we have reels now, and we have posts on Facebook and so on and so on. So you can go to any paragraph, any page, I don't care what it is. And so you go, well, I don't have the time to read. Great. You got 30 seconds? If I could guarantee you that 30 seconds a day would change your life, would you do it? Oh, yeah, of course I would. So I'm just going to randomly open to any page. You know, I don't have it marked, nothing, just any page. All right. So, and I believe that something about you brings it to you. Or you can actually go into the table of contents and say, like, I'm struggling with forgiveness. So maybe I should go read a paragraph in the life lesson, Forgiveness Heals the Heart. But I just happen to open up to that. You read one paragraph. The heartfelt act of forgiving with or without their apology sets you free from the emotionally toxic bondage that has imprisoned you inside your condemnation towards the guilty party. Amnesty breaks the vicious cycle of punishing the wrongdoer and puts an end to your participation in the consequences of their actions. Dr. Gary Chapman wrote in his book, One More Try, forgiveness is not a feeling, it's a commitment. It's a choice to show mercy, not to hold the offense against the offender. So read that and go to work. Right? Or read that and then react to your kids. Read that and go drive and get cut off by somebody, right? Because if it's not in your mind, it can't be in your life. But you have to have a.
It's also being aware of what you like. If you're driving and you're like angry of like how people are driving, you can like first you need to be aware of that, like that you're thinking that, and then you can shift that, like thinking like, oh, I'm grateful, I'm happy that I don't drive like that. Like you can shift like in multiple ways to change your thinking in several ways.
4 days a week, I drive 8 miles north along what's called Alt 19 or Coast Highway. I'm in Dunedin. I live 1 block from the Intercoastal. So the speed, so I go from 45 speed limit outside of my house down to 40, down to 30, then you get through the light, then it goes back up to 40, pretty much the whole way. And then you get into Dunedin and you get into where you're right on the water. It's called Edgewater Drive. And now it's 30 miles an hour, and then it goes up to 35, and then beyond that it goes to 40. Well, there's a lot of elderly people around here. Okay. I'm 70 years old, but I don't consider myself elderly. I'm extremely active. So I like to drive the speed limit and a little over it. You know, that's all I kind of ask on the road. but it's not going to happen, especially when you have a 1-lane road and I'm going 8 miles that way. So for me, it's like going to life school because I am challenged so many different times, right? So your thoughts create a feeling, and then the feeling creates an action and a reaction. So if it gets past my head and now I'm feeling anxious or agitated or some words are coming out of my mouth, that's 3 opportunities I've had to not go into the action reaction part, right? Which could be I could get right up on their butt. I could pass them in a no passing zone, right? I could get irritated. A guy pulled out of me the same road, right? A guy pulled out on me just 2 days ago. He was at the stop sign. I'm coming this way. I know he's coming out. And there's no way there's enough room between me and him. And then I watch his wheels move. And I'm saying to myself out loud in the car, don't go, right? He goes, pulls out, cuts me right off. And then, of course, it's 40 miles an hour. He's doing 20, right? So I beat my horn. for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think I'm going to teach him something, but what he does, slams on his brakes, middle of the road, slams on his brakes, puts his car in park and jumps out of the car and attacks my car.
Oh,
This guy's like in his 70s. I just laughed at him. I said, I went around his car, right? He followed me on my butt the whole way. I said, you know what? But again, my point is, none of that can I control, okay? And I didn't do a bad thing beeping at him. 99 out of 100 people would have. I just wanted to beep at him to get him to go 40 miles an hour. He's going to be so anxious, so aggressive, and in a hurry to pull out in front of me and almost cut me off. Well, at least do the speed limit, not half of it, right? So I call this my spiritual path, going from here to Clearwater 4 times a week.
but
And
it's like a meditation, yeah? It's like a meditation. You can use anything in your life as a meditation practice and be even more aware in the moment.
it's all meditation.
Yeah.
It's all meditation and affirmation. So the meditation is the awareness, it's live, it's called reality. And so when I get to those places, if I get to the reaction part, then to myself or out loud, it's just me in the car. I'm in control of my thoughts. I'm in control of my emotions. Then I go into the most powerful statement, 2 words on the planet, besides thank you, is I am. I am calm. I am happy. I am grateful. I am feeling good. I am patient. I am kind, right? I've allowed myself to go down to this low vibration. I build myself up. Still can't control nothing unless I'm willing to break the law and go around these people. But now I'm in acceptance, right? But you got to do this all day long.
Because I think you need to first say it a lot of times before you actually believe it and feel it.
Yeah.
Because at one point you just say it, I'm calm, and you feel calm. But it's not in the beginning.
And then it becomes like anything else.
Mm.
In pickleball, and I've been playing enough years now to where I'm an advanced player, right? I hit that ball at my opponent. I know it's coming back to me even faster. So I've got to hit, reset, and it might be over there, it might be over there, it might be down here, right? I got to track that thing and get a paddle on it. And if I don't do the technique right and fast enough, the ball either hits me, goes by me, or I miss it, or I hit it and it goes into the net, or I hit it and it goes out, right? Life's a game. The more you practice this, the quicker you can deal with it.
Yeah, and also the more you know it's a game, you can get better at it.
Right.
There's like levels. You can level up.
And you have to constantly have your mind in the place to where it's progress and never perfection, because your lesson is outside the comfort zone. So we learn. I didn't create life or humanity, or I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm 70. I don't have that much. Even if I live 20 years into 90, I only got 20 years left. I've already lived 70, right? But you learn from your mistakes, or you don't. You go stronger from your difficulties, or you don't.
Or you repeat it after and after again.
Right. And because we are spiritual beings having a physical experience called life, there are laws that we live by. One of them most obvious is gravity. But you have to believe, you just have to believe, because we live in the proof of it, that thoughts are energy. Einstein said it, Tesla said it, everybody has said it. Every religion is about it. Every psychological teaching, every psychologist, everything, it's energy. It can be measured by machines. The energy from your heart and the energy from your brain, your freaking brainwaves, right? So you're projecting them and you're receiving them You are the TV station, and it's your own reality that you're creating on your own screen, and you're projecting the energy and you're receiving it. Oh, well, you know, that's like some sort of metaphysical new age kind of thing. Really? Explain to me your cell phone. Explain to me what we're experiencing right now. How the hell are you in Mexico? And I'm here in Florida, and I can see you and hear you. What are we exchanging on a technological level and on a spiritual level? One thing, energy. That's what wireless is about. A whole freaking book can be downloaded in a matter of minutes, right? You could be driving in your car and be watching as you're driving along and be getting a video. I mean, that's how we are now communicating on an energy level. And we have it so high that we've gone from 1G to 2G to 5G. And that's a whole nother story. 5G, we're getting a little fried. But if you don't process this stuff, then you're the guy who cuts me off, blames me, jumps out of his car, and attacks my car. That's who you become. You become so negative that nobody wants to be around you, not even yourself. So you better learn how to do this, because they're not teaching it to your school, in your school. Unfortunately, most parents don't teach it to you. So you got to go, you know, seek and you shall find. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not their mind, not the celebrity's mind, not the minds on the TV or in the movies, your mind, right? Because that's all you're leaving here with. You know, you can't show me one person that brings their body with them, right? But they now have instruments so sensitive that they can measure the energy or spirit that leaves the body. They can measure it. They know someone's going to die. They set up all these sensors around. Dies, boop, it shows up on the screen. What was that? Oh, guy passed. You know, so that's the only thing you leave here with is energy. And it's either going to be negative or positive. In energy, there is not gray. There's light and dark, positive and negative, good and bad, love and fear, goodness and evil. There's no grays. You know, you could be in the transitional place in between the two, but when it comes down to it, you're one or the other. And
you feel it if you're living in love with no fear, or like you feel it. And otherwise, if you're not knowing, like you have to wake up to it. It has to go that bad before you wake up or before you change your life.
And when you like someone will say to me, in fact, I made the statement in the book. Once in a while, someone will say to me like, "Oh, you know, who do you think you are? You think you're some wise man or some prophet or something, some guru?" And I'll go, "No, I'm both the teacher and the student. I wrote the book for me first, and then it helped me so much, I would help others with it. But I'm able to do it, not because I'm perfect, because I recognize my imperfections. And that's where the wisdom is. I learn from my mistakes. I'm taught by my troubles. Now, thank God, I create less and less of them. But you can only control so much. Troubles, you know, and I believe when you're an empath, you really have to be, you know, you set up a radio, you're going to get clear stations, you get ones that hardly come in, and other ones that's pure static. Right? You can't get anything, right? You're on the number, but you can't get anything, right? So you have to be aware. A lot of people don't want to go down a spiritual path because in some ways you become a target. Part of it's your awareness, but if these are two magnets, if I put positive and positive, they repel each other. I flip this one to negative and it attracts. So in the metaphysical world, you're going to be attracting negative energy if it's around you. But you just become more and more aware. It happens to me all the time, and I've learned how to deal with it in a let's say a Christian mode. It's called spiritual warfare. You're attacked by the enemy. Why? Well, who else are they going to attack? Armies don't kill their own soldiers. Right? They kill the enemy.
Well, a lot of people get killed by friendly fire, but
Yeah, that happens. Don't trust your friends. So once in a while, there's I say on Facebook, and I've been seeing there is a spiritual awakening going down,
yeah,
and
definitely.
I have purposely, when you like or share a spiritual post, then the AI sends you more of it. Just does, because they want you to see the ads. So
Yeah.
so this one post, I call them posts, but they're the photo with words in them. I don't know what they're called.
Memes.
Memes. And so this one I just read, and it's been popping up lately, so I've read it multiple times. It basically says why people don't want to seek a spiritual path. Because it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Takes you out of your comfort zone. It's much easier to not. And it goes on to talk about you're going to lose friends. You're going to be attracting negative energy. You're going to, and it's in every teaching, every spiritual teaching. Jesus said, just because you're following my teachings, don't think that your life is going to be perfect. It's going to be the opposite, right? Why do you say that? Because you're going to be more aware of stuff, and you're building up all of this spiritual energy. Everything seeks to neutralize. So if I have a negative person over there, when I was drinking, I was in a bar, and my first book, I used to go out with a little butt pack on with 3 books in it, and because I just wanted everybody to have the book. And so I would go out, and sometimes I would actually sell it and get $20, but I would always was able to trade a few drinks for it. So I'm in this bar, it's late at night, not a lot of people around, but there's maybe like 20 people around. And, because people always, if you start talking to someone, they say, oh, you live around here? What do you do for a living? So I always load up and go like, oh, I'm an inspirational author. Oh, really? What do you write? I know it's coming next. I go, oh, well, let me show you. I just happen to have a book on my head. And so they're at the bar reading my book and going like, oh, wow. Oh gosh, I needed to read that. Oh, I needed to hear that. It's like, oh, wow. Gosh, that's a really good way to put God. Because I'd say God in it, but I would also say things like, well, the opposite of that is dog. God spelled backwards is dog. Just things to kind of lighten up the whole, because I'm not religious. And so here we're building up this like spiritual energy. I step away from the bar. This demon, this extremely negative entity, comes across the bar, pushes me from behind, launches me.
Wow.
And while I'm going through the air, approaching the wall, I hear, we don't speak about God in here. Hit the wall, bounced off, got back up. I still deal with the shoulder wound.
Wow.
8 years later. But I knew enough to just leave. They arrested the guy, blah, blah, blah. I knew it was spiritual warfare. Mysteriously, the evidence got lost, so they couldn't prosecute him. mysteriously. Remember, it's a war. There's a war going on. You know, I only use the war because you're coming against things. There's a conflict going on. But was that my fault? No. Did I attract it? Well, there was 20 other people there. I'm not that unlucky. He picked me. It wasn't a coincidence that we were reading something spiritual, that we were lift up. There was no other spiritual target there. I was the only one that had any light coming from it. Darkness seeks light, right? So I'm mentioning these things because it's a journey, and it's not an easy one, but it gets easier. But either is not going on the journey, right? I mean, you can do absolutely nothing, and there's so much conflict out there. There's so much negative energy. There's so much good. There's so much love. So instead of just being unaware and walking like this, why not open yourself up to it all and start ascending, right? But it's fascinating how many people just don't. But there is, the more the shit hits the fan, politically, economically, environmentally, right? The more people are waking up. Even if, and we're all going to die. So it's like, this is our shot. Right? No matter how,
it's like you don't have to be afraid to die because you die anyway. So like you can just give it all you've got.
Yeah. So of course, here in America, you know, the whole thing is the presidential election. And you talk about lies and evil and propaganda and fraud and corruption. You know, they're trying to kill Trump. They're putting Republicans in prison. It's like a third world country that no one has ever seen before, right? So myself, I believe, and it's a political belief, that Trump has a better chance of dealing with this mess. Other people believe that Harris and Biden created it, so they think they're the better ones to fix it, which is metaphysically impossible. But if Trump doesn't become president, my life's still going to be the same. I can't control any of this stuff. If the whole freaking world comes to an end and the World Economic Forum comes in and just does all the shit that they put in the book, Make America Healthy Again has come out of it.
Yeah, it's like
that's
really
the new motto.
crazy. Yeah, but it's like for me, yeah, I come from Holland and see like America, and it's like in America they have like, I heard a lot about like my partner, he's from America, but it's like crazy how much like all ingredients of the same things are like they have 3 times more ingredients in it. It's all addictive, it's all toxic, and the people have no idea, and they just become bigger and bigger and eating more and more fast food. And I'm like, and then they're like, find it strange that they're like taking 10 pills at the same time for all different issues. He's like my partner says, like everybody around him was all taking medicine, and no one thinks of changing their diet.
I went to the emergency room for something, right? I can't remember the last time I went to a doctor because I'm very, very health conscious. So much, I'm currently writing a book, and I had a title before the MAGA turned into MAHA. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Make America Great Again with the Make America Healthy Again. Since this is, I'm kind of doing a series. The next book is Living Your Best Health Now. And so I go to the emergency room, and you've got to, you know, hospitals are great for surgeries, emergencies, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I fill out the form and she goes, "Oh, you missed here." And I said, "No, I didn't." She goes, "Well, you forgot to put down the drugs you're taking."
You miss them.
I said, "I'm not taking any." She said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "I don't take any pharmaceutical drugs." Because the average person in the United States takes 3 to 5, especially when they're 70.
Yeah, but even if they're younger, they're already taking that.
Right.
Yeah.
So she went like, "Oh, like, it was so rare." So, "Oh
Yes,
yeah, I'm on Ritalin, I'm on Prozac, I'm on statins,
that is the norm. That is normal.
I'm on diabetes medicine." Right? But I'm here because I had a heat stroke because I'm so freaking healthy. I wasn't smart enough to just stop for a while and cool down in 90-degree heat and 80% humidity, and I had a heat stroke. Got taken away in the ambulance, right? So again, I'll never do that again. You know? But the reason why I'm writing this second book, and I'm not a nutritionist. I'm self-taught. You know, I could be a psychiatrist because I'm self-taught. You know, I could be a life coach. I don't have to have a certification. I'm self-taught, right? It's
But
because
when you're on the spiritual path, you become a nutritionist, you become a researcher, you become a writer, you can become a social media expert, you become a communication expert, and like a detox health coach. Like it's all of these things in one.
yeah, and I'm a chemtrail expert.
Oh yeah, very good.
I've known about chemtrails for 20 years. Like, you know, people used to think I was out of my mind. And I'd say, "Look, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of time. I just happen to know about it." You know, it's like, "Oh, yeah, government would never do that." You know, I go, "Well, you see that right there? What do you think that is?" "Oh, yeah, that's a jet trail." Great. So you explain to me how there's a beginning and an end. Did the jet just all of a sudden, while flying, all of a sudden this exhaust that stays there and doesn't dissipate started creating this line? And then what they do? Turn off their engines in order to stop it, and then turn their engines back on again without dropping from the sky? It's like, you
Well,
tell
you
me.
have like this whole roster in the sky go up,
And then
and
you
you
tell
see.
me all this crisscrossy shit, and you're saying like they let the FAA let you fly in that manner of crisscrossy patterns? What are you, nuts?
Yeah, and you can see the flight log, and you just see them going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like that just doesn't make sense.
Oh, the government would never do that to me. Oh, they wouldn't allow that, right? And I say, well, here, look, I'm gonna give you some homework. Tomorrow, around the same time, if those are jet trails, and every day commercial flights, even the military flights, they have a flight pattern. They're going from Florida to New York, Florida to California, right? So those planes are going to take that same path. So tomorrow, you look up in that sky and you see if those lines are there tomorrow, right? Because I'm telling you, they won't be there tomorrow because they're spraying some other place.
And there was like one state in America was the first one to ban chemtrails. It's like, oh, we thought that there were no.
That actually, Congress here in the United States, a bill was brought before Congress. Now, I don't know. I've been trying to clear my head, but all my information comes from the #1 expert on the planet, guy named Dane Wingington, and he has the website geoengineeringwatch.org. Geoengineeringwatch.org. World's #1 expert on chemtrails. He's committed his whole life to it. And I already know as much as I need to know. I already know as much as I need to know about the government and the deep state and big pharma and big food and big government and toxins diabetes and Alzheimer's, you know, ignorance can be bliss, you know, but not for me, you know. And so, since I'm kind of in that, I'm on third base of life mentality, the only place for me to go is home. Um, I'm kind of narrowing my, especially with so much going on. I mean, like, you know, they don't even neutralize anything. It's they just keep pushing the game, pushing up the pressure. You know, it's not hidden. The lie is the truth. The truth is the lie. There is no common sense. It's your own truth. Whatever your truth is, that's the truth. Even when it's a lie, that's your truth. And that's nothing but the truth. And there is no God, so he's not going to help you. So help you God. Ain't gonna happen. Right? So, you know, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Why are they, you know, it's like there is no logic anymore. And it's on purpose because you confound the mind. You confine the mind and you tell somebody there is a study. So a lot of things I found while studying for the book or researching for the book, it was too beyond people, and I didn't want to like take them all the way over here and then try to get them back into just be aware of your thoughts, right? But so there's this study that was done by Harvard, and they put a person in a room behind a wall, but you could hear it was a kind of a wall that let all the sound through it, but you couldn't see the person. And then there was 10 people, and they each had a knob, and they they knew, and they had a guy in a medical coat, dressed like a doctor, a surgeon, a doctor, that was telling the people what to do. And so they in front of each person had a dial from 0 to 10, and he would say, I want you all to turn the dial to 2. And when they did, the person on the other side would start screaming. And they explained to them that when you turn the dial, the person on the other side of the wall is being electrocuted. And if it goes to 10, he'll die. In between, he'll just suffer a lot. So, but he said, this is a medical experiment. So you guys have volunteered for this, right? So he would say, put it to 4. And the person would start screaming and blah, 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 blah. And people would go like, oh my God, it's like I'm in control of this. I'm inflicting all this pain and suffering on this guy. And then he'd say, put it to 6. And at that point, a few people started going, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not going to inflict any more pain on this person. I'm not willing to comply to your orders. So let's say there's 6 of them left. And then they went to 8. The guy doesn't stop screaming the other side. He's screaming bloody murder, blah, 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 right? So let's say 4 of those people dropped out, saying, I'm not willing to make this person suffer anymore. And then the doctor says, well, now we need to put him out of his misery. Turn it to 10. And the 2 remaining killed the guy, right? So the experiment was to see how far people would go when they're told to do something, right? Stay in your house, wear a mask.
I think that's happening in the world. Like, how far do they need to go before
Everywhere.
you say, I don't comply anymore?
Yeah. Why? Don't ask questions anymore, because the truth is the lie is the truth. And everything in this book, right? If like the New World Order took over tomorrow, they'd ban this book. This would be on the book of banned books, because they don't want anybody absorbing that stuff.
It's a miracle that you're not censored in that too.
Right.
You still have your Facebook.
That's true.
I know people have already their tents Facebook profile and they keep going, or there's 12th TikTok profile and they keep going. But once you're in that like state of you need to bring your message out, you will keep going no matter what. Nothing will stop you. Nothing will stop you.
So something has to counteract. We're in this mind control, brainwashing mode. It's all based upon scientific processes. Started in the CIA. It started in World War II, and the Germans brought it over. The CIA. I mean, this stuff has a scientific medical history that is just, you know.
And they know exactly what X-ray is doing with people, what amyloid filling does, what chlorine does, what fluoride does. They know exactly what to do with people. So their whole chemical like components, like they're like their whole the being is suppressed. And I'm really grateful and I'm happy that like people finally finding it out, like how much like people are starting detoxing, eating healthy, cleaning themselves, like mindset.
And then to cover it up, and to really confuse people, call it a healthcare system, right? Instead of what it really is, a sick care system. I have health insurance. I haven't used it in 10 years. Why? I don't get sick. All right. I invest my money in staying healthy. But you know, when I collapsed and the ambulance came, I was glad there was a hospital too. But the doctor, I was in there for 30 minutes. The doctor looked at me and said, I don't know what you do, but you've recovered. Get out of here. You know, my lips were blue, and, you know, but I recovered real fast because I had a strong system, right? But it's a system, and it's once you figure it out, then you can do. You know, people go. I have a thing in a chapter in the book about. It starts off saying, "There's nothing I can do about it," said 8 billion people. Right?
If we all thought like that, nothing would happen.
Because you say there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
You're off the hook. You got no responsibility. You got no accountability. You know, it's like, oh yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Right? Really? Explain that to me. Oh, well, you know, you can't fight City Hall. You can't change the government. You know, the vote doesn't count anymore. It's all corrupt. All right. Let's say everything you just said is true. Well, how about control your health? So if everything's gone to shit, right? Or you've got all the love, peace, positive thinking, positive attitude, joy, gratitude, happiness, and the best life now. If you're sick, it's not worth a lot because your health is your greatest wealth. So all these other things are very devalued, because if you can't get out of bed, then you know you're pretty much done, right? But that is the actual. If you look that we're fighting good against evil, and you're my enemy, I got to take your mind. Then I've got to take your heart, your emotions, fill it with fear, right? I've got to take your physical body, your health, and now I've got your soul. Now I've won the spiritual battle, right? And I got to do it in such a way to where you don't even realize it's going on, right? You don't look at labels at the health, which you don't look at labels. You don't eat organic because it costs 20% more. Yeah, but what's the copay on your health insurance? What's the copay on your drugs? What is your time and energy worth? Can I buy 10 years for 100 grand?
And feeling good in your body and healthy and have energy, it's so much worse. But a lot of people, only when they got sick, they change something.
But 9 out of 10 don't.
Yeah.
Because they go and they get a drug that is not meant to cure or heal you, right? It's meant to mask the symptoms, take them away, and artificially get your brain to produce serotonin and melatonin and tryptophan, so that you feel good in a sick body. If you're feeling good in a sick body, the root cause is now getting stronger and bigger and growing because it's not being dealt with. And then when the side effects kick in, then you need pills for that to take the side effects away. Right? Now you're on 3 of them a day. Now when they combine together, now you have magic. That's what pharmaceutical comes from, the Greek word pharmakia, which means witchcraft. So now you have a concoction that you can't even get at the drugstore, but it's in the body. You're taking, because you're taking the pills. The doctor doesn't even ask you, well, how many other pills you're taking. And now you're toxic. Now Big Pharma loves you because you're a lifelong customer. And the
But I
only
also like that saying, like if it would really cure you, you wouldn't need prescriptions.
yeah,
They don't go to the root cause.
they would be called curiptions. Right?
It's like
But they're prescriptions because you prescribe. You sign up and you say, okay, I'm going to take these every day.
the rest of your life.
I'm going to tell I'm prescribed until I unsubscribe. But people never unsubscribe. Right?
And my partner was taking 10 pills and he unsubscribed. He was like, fuck it, then I will just die. And he found out he was still alive and he was even feeling better. And then he went into a healing journey.
Yeah.
So it's like,
because we are designed to get sick.
yeah,
We're designed to get sick mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because that's how we get stronger. If you want to have a stronger body, right? Look at how many gyms are around. You've got to prescribe, but then you have to actually show up and you've got to do your exercises.
a lot of people just prescribe and they never go.
Right. And I'm in that category. Right. But I'll play pickleball 5 days a week. I'll walk 5 miles a week. That's what I do.
Mm.
So what happens in order to build up your muscles? You've got to tear them down, literally tear them down. They bleed microscopically, bruise microscopically, and then they re-strengthen. They heal, and you get stronger. It builds more muscle in the process of repairing your old ones. Well, that's what your immune system is. If your immune system doesn't get challenged, it kind of goes to sleep. So there's a lot of holistic doctors that say that we're literally born with the common cold, and that it's only been commercialized because up until the last 50 plus years, there were no cold medicines. You ate better, or you took an herb, or you laid out in the sun. You know, the hospitals weren't called hospitals; they were called solariums. They just laid people out in the sun, right? Because they were sick because they were inside in manufacturing places taking all these toxins in and shit, and they put them out in fresh air in the sun. That was their cure, right? and so instead of letting the body fight it off and get stronger, right? Heal thyself, we add more toxins and we depress the immune system, and you become metabolically weaker, dysfunctional. And then you take more drugs to feel better, you become a drug addict. I mean, it's like, but spending my whole life in sales and marketing, training with major corporations and going to sales trainings and reading every freaking sales book out there. And my concept, I went to the Dale Carnegie Sales School. Dale Carnegie, #1 best-selling Think and Grow Rich.
Mm.
Our first billionaire steel magnate, Dale Carnegie, Carnegie Hall in New York City. The concept is become a better salesperson so you can help people. If you're selling a product or service that's not helping people, then you're just a con man, right? You have to offer value and benefits, right? But the pharmaceutical company is brilliant. Big Pharma is the most brilliant business plan on the planet.
But it's really funny, because when I'm like offering solutions, people think like I'm scamming them or like don't believe in it. And I'm like, I actually want to help people here. And it's sort of really interesting because people are already scammed so many times, or shit happened. People almost don't trust anything anymore.
Yeah, but we're told to trust our doctor.
Yeah. Everybody trusts the doctor and the media and the news without any research.
Trust the science.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Well, that's also being paid off by big pharma. So it's like really like what you said also, common sense. There's no common sense, almost not anymore. But for us, it makes sense. For a lot of other people, it doesn't make sense. But at least more and more people are waking up and finding the message and finding the truth, and and hopefully also more people will find your book. And also, if they need other help, they can also find me. And that is like, we need to come together. We need to share each other's work and bring it out to the people so more people get help. And then you can't say like, I didn't know what to do, or I don't know. I have like people wallowing and in like victim mode and negative thinking, and they're just like spiraling down and down. And yeah, your book gives a really, really good explanations of how to change it, and even exercises. And it's like, it can really like change people's life in such a profound way. So I really hope more people find your book. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, shall we wrap it up with you want to read as a wrap up, you'll read another expert piece. It's getting some.
To key off of what we just said. All right. So people will say it's too hard, or I can't do it, or I tried it before, didn't work, right? And because the way we're educated in this mental perception of progress, of being graded off of a test, an A+, an A-. If you fail 30% if you get below 70, you fail, right? You get 69 on an educational test, you get an F. Well, the last couple of pages of my book, I say, well, you need to reverse that. How come you didn't get you weren't celebrated and encouraged for getting 69% of the questions correct?
That's more than half, you would think.
And all you have to do is just correct or focus on learning 31%. That's an amazing, when you go from 0 to 70%, you're in the middle class now, right? So in the creating your best life now. So after reading all this stuff, I'm going like, oh, wow. And the whole idea throughout the book, I keep saying like, don't focus on what you're doing wrong. Use that to direct you into what you can do right. So the last, and it's only 4 pages, right? I get out. How do you get out of a book like this, right? Right? Quick. and so in lesson 17, creating your best life now, blah, blah, blah. So I write, once you have changed and improved your life just a little, you will be 100% different from who and what you used to be. You can't unscramble a cooked egg. Once expanded by a new thought, a person's mind can never fully go back to its old way of thinking. When you improve your life in one way, it gets better in every way. You are only 1 degree from the positive change you want to see and be. At 32 degrees, the water is frozen solid. But when you add just 1 degree of heat at 33 degrees, the ice cube melts into a liquid. At 211 degrees, the pot of water is very hot. However, when you add just 1 degree of heat at 212 degrees, the water boils. One new action, 1 degree of positive change begins the transformation process that will take you from where you don't want to be to who and what you want to become. Pretty simple.
Yes. I got goosebumps again. Whew, it's
So with
oh,
that,
yay!
so I won't go to the full song. I'll just. Love will never let you down. Love will always be around with you everywhere that you can go, with you in everything that you do. Love will always be around. Every night, day, when you are up, when you are down, when you are lost, by me you are found. Love will always be around, everywhere, in every way. Love will catch you every time that you fall, answer every time that you call. Anytime your heart breaks, anytime your soul aches, I'll be there to love you unconditionally. Love will never let you down.
Oh, I'm crying here. Ah.
Well, I'm going to have to come to the Yucatan and do a book concert.
That would be amazing.
I'm also a scuba diver and a free diver. So,
Okay, cool.
although I don't do any of it here, but where you live, good diving.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody can just, even if they enjoyed like 1% of how much I enjoyed this, then it's
1%.
already a lot. Where can people find you? I will share your links.
Mainly Facebook.
Facebook and your book link as well. I put that also underneath Facebook and your Amazon book link.
I will. I've got your email. Yeah. Your email. So I'll send you my Facebook link. It's in the back of the
You don't have to send that. I know your Facebook link and your Amazon link on your Facebook. So I will post that underneath here so people can find you. If you change to other platforms, you can always, when you have it set up, you can send it to me on the Messenger or email, and I will share that as well, so people can find you on other places as well. Because like you share so much inspiration and your books and your next book, so I hope more people will find you And thank you very much for being here.
And I will send me an email. Okay, so I have it in my inbox, and I'll send you a few of my recorded songs off of my CD.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay? These are in a recording studio with microphones, you know.
And
It's
where
a-
did you have that to your CDs and the link to your CDs?
Yeah, they're all sold out.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
I'm going to eventually
Who
put one
knows?
together, a compilation of the 3-in-1, but you know,
Who
it's on
knows?
my project list.
Oh yeah. I have that too. Lots of different projects. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, and wishing you all the best with everything, and that it what your message that it can find more and more people. And hope you all love this podcast and be inspired by this and our talk. And I really liked it. So thank you very much. And
We're
bye bye.
inspired. We're inspired.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. And I will talk to you a bit more longer, but I now stopped recording. So thank you, lovely people.
All right. Well, in Mexico, they say adios.
Adios, amigos. Adios,
In
amigos.
Hawaii, it's aloha.
Aloha, and all the
Aloha.
best to everybody.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.